Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. The Smiths line, CWC, Marathon, and Hamilton. These are the heavy hitters in the area of field watches. They're absolutely iconic, and I have a Hamilton Khaki Field right here. So let's review it. I own and absolutely love my CWC G10 Sapphire. However, when I saw my brother's Hamilton Khaki Field on the wrist, it looked so great. It was like a slightly more refined version of the CWC. So I got a Hamilton Khaki Field, and we're going to flip the camera around and review it. And here we have the box that it arrived in. Just a nice plain black box. Hamilton on the top. I like their branding. I like how it's kind of vintage looking. Still, it's cool. And when we remove that lid, we see that there's a wooden box inside. And this opens up here. We have an instruction manual in here. It's a nice pop of color there. And this is in all different languages. And the instructions are actually a pretty short section. So if we look at English, it's basically 7 pages with 3 additional ones going over the warranty, service centers, and then an appendix. So it's a very concise, right to the point instructions. Some brands will put out a book, 2 or 3 times this thick, just full of instructions. And we will slide the box out of here. That is cool. I love that logo. That is so cool. Totally looks mid-century to me. I love it. And again, Hamilton on top. It's a really nice box. I like it. So we open it up, and here we have the hang tag and some of the wrappers that it came in. And there is the Khaki Field. So cool. All right, let's get it off the pillow here and take a close look at the watch. So this shipped on the green nylon NATO. Has a really great buckle on there. It's all brushed. We have Hamilton branding on there. Has a really wide tang. I really dig the 1930s, 40s aesthetic for this strap with the leather bits on there. However, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up making it a single pass like I do with all my NATOs. So it'll kind of lose this ring here. Or maybe I'll just cut it out of its loop there and slide it on here anyway as an extra keeper. We'll see. But this is great looking. Here's some of that leather here, reinforcing the holes. Very cool. Let's slip this off so we can look at the back of the watch. Here is the case back. We see that it is screwed down. We have that awesome logo there again. Swiss made. Some other information around there. 5-bar water resistance. Just a nice, thin, utilitarian case back. And looking at the lugs, these are really long lugs. So this watch wears pretty wide, as you'll see later on. But these are drilled. They are not fixed spring bars, just standard. But being long like this, it's super easy to slip your NATOs through here. Which, when you take it off, you have to kind of watch out for. It can slip along that pretty easily. And looking at the sides of the case, the entire case is bead blasted, of course. And look at how thin that is. That is one of the things that really appealed to me about the Hamilton Khaki Field. Is just how thin that case is. The bead blasting on this is great. And unlike the CWC, we see that here it kind of curves with the circular shape of the watch case itself. So this continues through here, whereas the CWC is kind of a straight cutout here. It's kind of a more refined version of the CWC in a way, or cousin of it. And looking at the crown, look at that knurling on there, that grip. And that is also blasted, so you really get a good grip on this thing, which is good and bad, as I will discuss in just a moment. Great branding here. It is not a screw-in crown. And again, this only has 50 meters of water resistance. All right, let's see how it is to operate the crown here. Nice solid click. We see that the seconds hand stopped, so it does hack. Let's push this back in and try winding it. It's nice. You can feel it clicking there. It's easy to tell that you're actually winding it. As I mentioned in my crown Battle of the Crowns video, the one downside of this watch is it's difficult to tell that it's filling up. There, it just stopped. So it goes from really easy to wind to all of a sudden, boom, it is full. And that just now happened. It just stopped. So that's a little bit creepy. So I try and wind this nice and slow and cautiously. But setting the time on here is great. Nice and smooth. There is no date complication on this. We have some patented Lume on there. This bezel is sweet. I like the way it angles down. And further makes this watch look thinner. It enhances its thinness and just gives it a really sleek look. That dial is great. I love the 24-hour markers in there. That is super cool. The seconds hand is great. Also, it reaches deeply into the minute track there. And the minute hand also goes right in there to the indices. The hour hand is just short of the markers, but being the hour hand, that's totally fine. That looks super cool. And a slightly domed sapphire crystal, ever so slightly. Just enough to give it a nice, again, a sleek aesthetic to it. As for the specifications on this watch, it is actually really affordable. If you go to Hamilton's site, it's listed at $571. However, if you look on the gray market, you could find it down around $350 or so, which is about what I paid for it. Again, it has a sapphire crystal, stainless steel case, fully bead blasted, so that it can get roughed up and it'll still look like new, or pretty new. It is 38 millimeters for a case size. It is 9.5 millimeters thick. The lugs are 20 millimeters wide. The movement inside this watch is the Hamilton caliber H50, which is a hand winding movement, and it has an 80-hour power reserve, which is really cool. Alright, so let's see what this Lume looks like, and then we'll put this watch on the wrist. Here is the Lume on the Khaki Field. Not bad. That is nice and bright. There's even a little bit on the seconds hand, so you could tell that your watch is still running. All the markers, the hands. Not bad at all. So let me remove my Longines Dolce Vita, and we'll see what the Hamilton Khaki Field looks like. So here is the Hamilton Khaki Field on my 7-inch wrist. And that looks brilliant. Look at how thin it looks. And look at that strap. Oh, that is really cool. Now look at the lug to lug though. It's really cutting it close on my wrist. But it looks amazing. So cool. So there you have it, an absolutely iconic field watch, the Hamilton Khaki Field. And it's a perfect option for those of you who have larger wrists because of those long lugs. On smaller wrists, they could end up overlapping the edges of your wrist. So if you have smaller wrists, you might want to try this watch on before you end up buying one. Thanks for watching.